REZOcast, episode 74. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove, Triton, Mana, and Lead0ffMan, Booker himself, our special guest from REZOLUTE. Thanks so much for joining us again, Booker. How's your week been, man?
My week has been fantastic, man. Just had some fun Crimson doubles last week, closed it out, and working hard, and I got a day off tomorrow, so I'm excited.
Ooh.
Nice.
I had a day off today, and guess what I did?
PUBG.
Nothing. Well, I mean, yeah, but nothing. The correct answer was nothing. I did nothing. You can tell I didn't shave.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I look like a hobo. Like
I see some Joe Dirt growing in there, man. You okay?
Yeah, no, way worse. Joe Dirt looks like a fucking high class gentleman compared to me. But
you look adorable. That's all that matters.
Aw, thanks, Mr. Tumnus.
Did any of you guys get a chance to jump into Crimson doubles this week? We had the end of the Crimson days. Mana!
I play Destiny. I'm not going to lie. I played Destiny twice, actually. Crimson duos. I don't know why I'm 2, 3. I don't know why I'm counting up to. But Crimson duos and Trials. I played Trials again.
Whoa!
And I felt like trash. Yeah. I felt like my movement was so bad compared to what I used to be.
Is that why I got an engram finally from Trials?
Yeah, we went flawless. You know what the sad part is? We lost a couple times and I forgot to reset, so I myself didn't go flawless, but we got a couple people.
Guys. Nice. Very good. Very good.
I played a little bit of Crimson doubles by myself because I texted both Lego and Triton and said, like early in the day, hey guys, one by one. I didn't text them both because, you know, it's doubles. You want to play Crimson doubles tonight? It's the last night, and I'm going to skip PUBG and everything else to play it. And Lego said something about about sleeping, and I said, come on, just play, and he ignored me. Triton completely just ignored me until like 10:50, which is like 10 minutes before I said I was going to play, and said, I'll be asleep.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Wait,
yeah.
I put
I think I need to
sad
clarify.
face in mine. I put a sad face in mine, and you didn't have this nice message. You're like, I hate you, Crimson doubles 10 o'clock. That, like, your message wasn't the same
Actually,
as the one that you
it says,
Lego.
let's play Crimson doubles at 11. Thanks.
No, there's no way it said that. Just that.
Do you want me to show everybody? Because I can do that right now.
Wow.
I mean, I guess. Let's see. But maybe it's because of the Hove message, the text message we had together. The last thing you said before that was
the
maybe
words
I hate
Eaton
you.
Park. No, it was Triton.
Eaton Park.
Yeah, I've been very
Why do I
nice.
feel like I'm on an episode of
No,
The here?
I don't know if that's true.
Episode
This
of what?
is. Somebody's not getting a rose.
Triton ain't getting shit.
Okay, I
Getting
need
a
to
super
clarify
burger.
here because Hove definitely got an invite from me at least 3 nights in a row to play.
But
Crimson
you
doubles, and
invited
he's
me
like, "No,
after
I'm gonna
I was
play PUBG
already doing
instead."
something.
And then the very last night of Crimson Days, he's like, okay, hey, you want to play? And it's like the one day I'm out of town. It wasn't sleep. Had to go to work. Had to drive 5 hours to another city to go to work. So just putting it out there, Hope. You waited till the last day. You ask someone out 3 times in a
guys
row.
are
You know,
really
and they
bad.
keep turning you down. You eventually stop asking that
Did you
person
just
out. That's all I
did you
gotta
just say that you
Wait,
weren't?
you asked.
Did you just say that you weren't? Did you didn't say you were going to be asleep?
No, I didn't. Did I?
Your exact words were asleep. Ha ha. Again, I have text messages. You guys are bad liars.
That's funny because I definitely was driving. So maybe I was
Wait,
just lying.
didn't
to
I
you
put
all
a sad
together.
face in there for you, Hope? I feel like I did put a sad face in there at least that I couldn't play.
I'm done speaking to you.
Okay, well, you know what? You got 3
Well,
invites
what
in a
do you
row.
think about it?
I can't tell
Lego's
who's the liars.
referencing back to, like, you know, Sunday that he messaged me once. I only got 1 invite from Lego, and who knows if it was that
At
Sunday.
least you got one. At least you got one.
All right, Lego.
Wow.
Do you know what's funny about all this, though?
Podcast already.
Do you know what's funny about all this is the 3 of us fight over who invited and who didn't.
I think Mana got nothing.
Mana has never
You
once
guys have
invited.
already given up on me.
Mana's never once invited any of us to play.
What? You guys have never invited
But the
me.
other way around too. Yeah, we're guilty.
I mean, but
oh, what did you think of?
probably a good
Crimson
assumption now.
Days?
Probably won't play Destiny though. So I mean,
I think it
understand.
was a good game mode if I had someone to play with.
Oh my gosh, man!
Hey,
what about
hey.
you? You were the real true hero here.
all right. So it was Gungan and I. So we in chat and in Twitter, it was like 50-50. People are like, oh man, you know, it's easy. You'll steamroll. Other people are like, man, you get these guys, all they do is spam grenades. I'm like, oh boy, let's try it. First game. This, like, mind you, this is my first game back since Prometheus Lens's trials. Okay, how long ago was that? A couple months.
2017.
A couple months, yeah. It was last year. I'll say that.
It's been a year ago, so it was feeling weird, and we found a team of 2 hunters. One was hoarding skip grenades, and one was going invis and just bum rushing us. And we were like, we almost stopped after that game immediately. But Gunga, out of both of us, was like, wait, maybe it's just because it was our first day back. And we're like, okay. After that, we just steamrolled every team. Like, people were quitting left and right. And we're like, all right, maybe it's just because how they played. And then we only lost one other game. It was to a team of double skip grenades. It was like, that's all we lost to.
Oh, yeah.
So when they abuse the grenades, it's a bad time. The worst part is the second time we lost, we were winning the entire time until they camped cap point with grenades. And I didn't realize we actually went to sudden death. I didn't know there was a sudden death. And when you died, you're done for. Yeah. So I just kind of pushed it and died immediately and didn't think about it. So feels bad there. But other than that, it was decent. I think it was better than D1 Crimson. So it was not too shabby.
I think the biggest part was that it finally felt good to have some power, like to have some, even if it was a little more than we wanted and a little bit too far to the other side. It was nice to be powerful, to have some grenades and to have some stuff reach, but not quite mayhem, like not just constant, but
it also it kind of like, since I was abusing the abilities so much, that was my first time being back. When I went to trials later that night, I was always trying to like shade step around corners and stuff. Is he gone?
Yeah,
he's gone.
He's gone.
Well, but I kept on finding myself teabagging the ground in front of people killing me because I didn't have my ability.
It's toxic.
It's like, this guy, people just shooting at me, just see me teabagging, looking away, slowly teabagging away. Like, why am I spinning?
Oh, I saw the picture of Lego again. It's him, like,
the one standing.
Yeah, you thought the rare Lego, standing Lego. He does have legs.
It was like Lego pretending to be Frank Sinatra.
And that's why I have the picture saved to my phone when he calls. Never, but it's there.
Oh my gosh.
So how about you guys, Triton, Booker? What did you guys think? Did you get to play some?
Go ahead, Booker. You were the guest.
No, I played actually a good amount of it because I like, to kind of what you guys said, I think being able to feel like I was powerful again was really kind of nice. Getting 2 supers in like a match was really kind of nice at some point. But like when you did go up against like double Night Stalk or something like that, double like Invis, like that was just painful. Them throwing smoke grenades and not knowing where they're at on the radar and stuff like that.
Grenades.
I'm sorry, yeah, smoke grenades.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that's a new feature. But I had fun. Like, it was like the most fun I've had, I think, in D2 altogether. And honestly, like I did team up a lot. I did enjoy doing some solo stuff too. Like I get a lot of enjoyment out of beating like people that are teamed up and think they're going to beat a couple people that are solo. Like, I enjoy beating them in that respect as well. But it was a lot of fun. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I was excited to like come home and play Destiny after work every night last week. Yeah. And I will say, like, Hove has my phone number. And I never got a message about playing
Doubles.
I know that feel, man.
You know.
Dude, look at that face, Hove. How did you let that one go?
I wanted Shax to be saying, "Show your love" at that final round with Hove and I, but it never happened. So.
I don't know.
Right, what about you? Did you get to play any more doubles?
I did not play any doubles. I think I just avoided it. I don't know. I had such bad memories from Destiny 1. I just didn't do it. I was hesitant
because of that.
And I didn't want to play it. And then Hove did send me an invite on that last day and I couldn't make it. But otherwise, I didn't really I definitely wanted to go in with someone if I was going to play. And so at the hours in which I tried, really wasn't anyone available. And then also, bad memories. So kind of did the whole like do the weekly stuff, hope that someone does a raid, hope someone in the clan plays some trials, pick up those engrams on a Monday. Like that was kind of the plan. So
I got you back
guys.
There, engrams.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
My point of view is I almost think that if they just had simple duos, no like buffs to the abilities or anything, it may have been actually funner for me. because me and Gunga went on such a win streak that we kind of got bored and went to Fortnite. We're like, what's going on? Because like a lot of people on the opposite team were also just quitting out left and right. Yeah. Like we're like, oh come on, you know, it's like we're not even doing anything cheap. Like we're not one the teams that we lost to, but we were sticking around a lot and they weren't. Which I think we played maybe a lot of singles that were matchmaking. Yeah. Maybe. And we were just pub stomping hardcore, and we're like, this feels good. And then after a while, we're like, where's all the, you know, we want to play a good team, but not a team that just spams nades, you know? Yeah. We just kind of left it. Yeah.
Well, what would you guys have thought? Because, man, you kind of mentioned, you know, if it was just regular doubles with no buffs and changes, how do you think that would have went? Like, obviously, the core issue still would have been there. We don't feel powerful enough, movement speed, blah, 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 blah. But that stuff's getting worked on. But there'd be team shotting wouldn't be nearly as bad, right? Because there's only two people team shot you. Like, how do you think doubles would work? Just, hey, 2v2, that's it. Normal game mode.
Honestly, I think it'd be really like better than fours and reminiscent of D1, just because I think you actually find 1v1 engagements quite often if you're not sticking together, of course, because we found a lot of 1v1s, just people by ourselves. And then, but we'd always team up ourselves and just take everyone out with pretty much just the two of us. But it reduced the grenade spam. But I guess my main thing was just grenade spam. That was the one thing. Everything else, I think, was okay, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I was just asking as far as if it was just regular D2, but 2v2. Like, how do you guys think that would work? Because, like I said, team shotting is the big complaint, right?
It's like duos in D1. If it was just went back to that, I had a lot of fun back then in the when like Hovey and I used to do duos and did stupid like requests and stuff like that. I thought it was really fun. So if they just did that simply and just had it, I don't know, as maybe a bonus playlist for a little bit longer, maybe I may have even played more. But
well, now that you're talking about that, I don't know if it was on Reddit or I don't think it was in the TWAB or anything like that, but I think it was something that DMG had mentioned on Reddit. I know one of the devs said something about 2v2 coming back in some shape or form. They're just like working on it. You know, we have some other things to talk about later of some other game types that I'm very excited to talk about. But before we get to that, I just wanted to throw out there, I had read somewhere on Reddit that one of the devs had mentioned and replied to, like, Reddit always puts together all the replies, you know, that they've had on Twitter and on Reddit in the different sections of even BNet, you know, and in one of the compilations I saw, like, you know, 2v2 was one of the rotations that they're wanting to come back, but it wasn't coming back when all the other new
they were saying it was going to come back alongside Mayhem and the other one that we'll talk about.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to throw out there real quick. I really enjoyed my last few days in Crimson Doubles. I feel like a lot more solo, and then I also played with some other people too, just duos going in, and it was a lot. I played with Botbuster for a little bit, and it was just a lot of fun just going in and slaying some people. The only time I ran into trouble, I felt like, is the same thing Mana said. This is a grenade spam, especially people with Shinobu's Vow, throw in those skip grenades down the hallway. Continue. Like, it was amazing how fast they could throw them. And that was the game that made me switch, because I was having fun on Sunbreaker, but I was like, I need to run the pulse grenades again. Like, I switched back to Striker, double pulse grenades, you know, just throw them on the heavy whenever it pops
That's
up.
Actually surprising. I didn't run into many of those at all, now that I think of it.
You know,
yeah, me neither. But once I switched to it, I was really successful in defending myself down those tight hallways. So,
do you know what? Even though, like, I don't have a problem with them in D2 so much, you know what I just realized I really miss? D1 lightning grenades.
Oh yeah,
they were so much fun.
I've heard they're pretty good,
but they're just not like, I don't know. They're just not the same. You gotta like wait. There was that like
they just don't.
Right, but there was that, like, okay, I know this guy's here. You throw it, it hits, pulses, kills them. Like, it was so good. They were so
I
much
hated
fun.
lightning grenade D1 so
Listen,
much.
You can't talk because you would run around shoulder charging everybody.
Yeah, because I gave in. I crumbled and I went to the dark side in year 3 and I loved it. But during the light side, okay, back when I was a good person, I absolutely loathed it, because like in trials you get those really good teams that just stacked and, you know, they charge throw the lightning grenade, just a bunch of lightning grenades or whatever across, and they just block off everything, and they last forever. So you're just like, where do I go? You know? Rip my hair out because of those grenades.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely sucked in that aspect. I was just thinking more that, like, use them to prime someone, or like you got someone weak and you know they're running, you hit the wall, and they were good. They were fun.
There's a reason why I complained about them, because they're good.
While, right? I think when were they really out of control? Like when everything was getting touched except Striker towards the end, right? Before that, I thought
they were never out of control.
They were fine.
They were always fine.
I always complained about them. They never really changed ever, did they?
No, that was the thing. So like everything towards the end of Destiny went down, but they stayed the same, and that's when everybody used them along with the armamentarium. But before that, they were just funny, good, fun to use grenades. Well, they were fun for some people.
They were really well blocking passages off really well. If you
Or on B flag, if you throw it at B flag when everybody first gets there and you're playing 6v6 and like you see 6 bodies fly out of the corner, you know, that was just the best.
What was the Venus map, where Tower of Power, where everyone collides up on that top point? You know,
that wasn't
on D1, I mean.
Like with all the platforms, like you were outside the whole time basically, but that was the thing you kept traversing.
It was just like one big long level with the tree in the middle and then an upper point. I think it was Venus, wasn't it? Asylum?
I think so.
No, Asylum was the one where you like all the cars and stuff were down low.
Yeah, that's
that is okay. Yeah,
overgrown like the street, and then up top there's a car.
Okay, yeah.
If you got a couple lightning grenades off that back wall where everyone pushed B, it's just like GG.
That's good. I did want to like throw in something on the just counterpoint to the ability thing, like Mana was saying. Like I do like having more abilities, because I think what Hove was saying, it just made you feel more powerful. I just think the amount that like stuff like Shinobu's vows and stuff like that, when that was very evident, people were throwing grenades every second, that was a little much. But having a little bit faster, like I think there's a happy medium we can find that would be really really fun to play and not annoying.
Yeah, there were times this was almost mayhem like, and that wasn't as fun. You know, I think the one like I spoke very highly of Crimson Doubles and I enjoyed it a lot. But I think my counterpoint to it was, you know, and I think somebody might have mentioned it, but like when we did get I think would be the reward side of it, and it's kind of like the thing that has continued in Destiny 2 for me is that when it's supposed to be like a specific reward for that event. Like when we got our level up, we got our Crimson Engram. Sometimes you open that thing, and it's not a Crimson Days item in there, and that's the frustrating thing for me. That it's kind of like continued. Like Iron Banner's had that. Like if I go to get something for Iron Banner, I want an Iron Banner reward. I don't want something that's not Iron Banner related. So that would be my counterpoint to it. But to your like the other side, I kind of agree with you. Like I enjoyed it, but there were times it did feel very mayhem. Like there's got to be a happy medium there.
And I mean, I think that what they're going to go for probably is a happy medium, because this was designed to be something extra, right? Like it was supposed to be more than what we're going to get. So I do think we'll see something that's increased from what we have now, but not quite as much as whatever Crimson Doubles, whatever it was called.
Which is pretty awesome, because you know, they're taking risks with game types, which is what we want right now. D2 feels kind of stale in terms of like every primary encounter kind of feels the same, but when you let people feel more powerful, that's when the game gets really interesting, and that's why I love Mayhem so much. So the fact that you were throwing grenades every second, it was a little too much Mayhem. Like it was still fun to have something different for a little while.
Yep.
Faux show.
Well, cool. I want to, before we jump into, because we have faction rallies this week, but before we jump into that, I just want to talk with Booker for a little bit. We haven't had him on in a while. How are you feeling about D2 right now? What have you been enjoying about the game, or what have you been staying away from? Either one, you know? Yeah,
I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm the guy that has to start the hashtag. Like I still play D2. I don't know why. Like, but I mean, I enjoy the game, and I think I enjoy the game more for like the people that I play with than anything. I've enjoyed just logging in to collect my trials package every week, because I don't really play trials. So I think the guys in Rezo that do play trials for me to get those rewards. But no, I log in mainly to play Crucible. I still like I enjoy playing the Crucible. I know that it's not like that's one of the broken parts of the game, and a lot of folks are like, I've stayed away from the game for that reason, but I enjoy that side of it. I get a lot of fun of like being in a party with some buddies and hanging out and doing that. the PvE side of it, like I've really struggled. Like I don't really like enjoy a lot of what's on the PvE side. I think the strikes I have some fun with, but when you run the same strike like back to back time, sometimes it gets a little old and annoying. But I mainly just jump in and do my stuff that I need for the week, and it's given me opportunity to probably play a few other games I might not have played. I played some of that cartoony Fortnite game. I played a little bit of that and a little bit of PUBG. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like it's, you know, I enjoyed E2 for what it is and for the community we have in it. But yeah, I'm excited to see that there's changes coming to the game, and I'm hoping that we see a lot of folks come back to it, because it is frustrating to log in and there's not many people there to jump on with. So there are times you're playing by yourself, but there's also it's my place to go to relax. Like after a long day at work, like I decompress and I jump in and I play some PvP or something like that, and have a good time in it.
I'm the same way, man. Yeah, I totally feel you. When especially if I'm having like a late night where I'm just like, oh, I'm just not really feeling anything. Like it's kind of the opposite for me. It isn't necessarily D2 PvP right now, but PvE, like just doing the milestones even is just like a super chill, easy thing for me to do, and I enjoy doing that. Just the gunplay is still super satisfying for Destiny in general, you know, 1 or 2, it's very satisfying. And so I don't feel like there's any other game that really captures that clean shooting, getting a headshot feeling so good as Destiny for me, even at this point. So I'm with you, man. It is interesting to hear that PvE isn't the thing that relaxes you as much as PvP right now, but I'm curious if the Nightfall changes. We're getting Nightfall scoring, you know, next week, I guess, basically. And so does that excite you at all for PvE content, or is it not so much what you're looking for?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something I'm necessarily looking for. Like I read the update today. I wasn't really excited about the emblem stuff I saw in the update, but I think having something to keep score on, I think that's pretty neat. Like I enjoyed some of that we had in D1. I think you know, anytime you can be competitive and keep score or something, I think it helps out the game, and it gives you something to shoot for, you know. And I would just hope that, like I said, when it comes to Nightfall, that, you know, I don't know, it's just getting people to jump on and play. I think it's going to be about finding folks that want to do that with you.
Yeah, I realized today, like I said, I was off today, so I did jump on. I played some Overwatch, I played some PUBG, and I did jump on to Destiny. Did some faction rally stuff. By the way, we need to make sure future war cult wins this time. Thanks.
No,
I know, right? I don't think it's gonna happen, but I feel you.
But I think what really dawned on me today, and I don't want to say it's something I didn't realize before, but like I jumped on it and I did the like milestone that was, you know, whatever, destroy enemy, whatever, for the factions on Titan, and then I started to do the flashpoint, like those weekly things. But like I think what really hit me today was like I didn't want to do it by like it wasn't fun enough on its own to do by myself. Like if someone else would have been on and I would have been just like, even one other person, you're just kind of bullshitting while you play.
Sorry, Hove.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not giving you guys any shit this time for once.
Give Lego.
But like, no, in all seriousness, that's kind of like,
text me.
Yeah, I did. I know. Nobody ever answers me. I texted Mana a little bit ago, and he didn't answer me.
He's like,
He's checking his phone. He's going to see it. Yep.
Is it a picture of Mr. Tumnus?
No, it was like 10 minutes ago. I texted him and Booker and said, you guys want to play some D2? Because they said
I responded.
I know, I saw it.
Actually did text me. But it was like 14 minutes ago. So
yeah. But no, like even just one other person, like, and that's something that I don't have a solution for specific. You know, it's a lot of things. You know, a big recipe for that, and that's on the devs to fix. But from the player point of view, like the game definitely still has its potential. It still has a lot of things to do. It just, to me at least, they don't draw me in on my own. Like it's not a game I'm just gonna sit and grind on my own. But just one other person, like, to bullshit. Like, there is stuff you can do. You can spend a couple hours playing it, but to me, I need somebody else there to, like, keep me entertained. Maybe I just have ADD. I don't know.
No, I agree with that 100%, no, because that's what I talked about with the faction rallies last time when you could, at Winding Cove, I said some of the best times I've had in D2, honestly, was like, yeah, we were doing the most mundane thing you possibly could do, literally running back and forth in that, like, little tunnel up there. But, like, it brought back a couple people I hadn't talked to or anything like that. And actually, I was playing Battlefront the other day, and Bot came in chat, and or somebody else came in chat, too, and they were like, hey, did you know there's another like run for the credits or for faction rallies right now on Titan? I guess you can do it, kill yourself real quick, and then do it again. And I was like, oh, really? I should come back for that then. Maybe I can get some people to come back for because that's a big part of the game. I mean, community is a very big part of this, and I think that's what allowed Destiny 1 to stick around for as long as it did, and for us to continue this into Destiny 2. And without that element, you know, you are just doing kind of the same thing to a great degree. So hopefully, and like you said, they do have, you know, the devs have to give more incentive to come back. But that's if you don't have that, you know, this game, it's not it's tough without that. I'll just say that it is tough. I've noticed without having anybody on there, just be like, hey, what's going on? You know, you're just, you know, even though we've talked about it a little bit, you know, we are in a period of time where we're still doing Nightfall. It's not just Destiny 2 Nightfall and we're only at like however, you know, 6 months or whatever. We're really at 3 years and 6 months of doing a Nightfall, to be honest with you.
Right.
Maybe it's a little different. So you do get to that point. And when you have people around, I think that kind of like, you know, at least you're doing that with somebody else.
I do think one of the things, though, that that definitely plays a part in that is kind of the, you know, as we had talked about even before the game came out, the kind of move towards balance was a move away from the crazy Destiny fun. Not fun in general, but like the way Destiny 1 was fun. And I think that's a big part of it, because look at it now. Like, you take a game that's maybe a single-player game, whatever, The Last of Us, and it's really hard, and you play through it once by yourself, and it's great, and you love it. But that doesn't make you want to keep, like, you don't want to have to keep hiding behind things and doing all this crazy stuff. Like, that isn't fun to keep doing. And so, like, in Destiny, when we had these OP weapons and all these abilities and all this stuff, you could just run through Nightfalls. And I don't want them to be super easy or anything, but, like, you could run through just whatever it may be. Patrols, missions, milestones, just kill a bunch of shit, run through, do it by yourself, and it was exciting. And now every time through any activity feels more like a grind, a struggle, than it used to, I think. Like, even when you were grinding in D1, you were killing everything with super big explosions and OP weapons and supers. And now it just feels so much more slowed down. So if you don't have something...
You can say the same thing about Crucible, too. Like, we had 3 years of D1, how we can use OP things, like you were just saying, and you can make these really satisfying big plays in Crucible.
Yeah.
Like, not only you felt like you can be working for something, maybe one of the factions or whatever, but you're also getting the satisfying, like, surge of just like, oh my God, I just obliterated these guys, you know? And it's just like, you can't do that anymore, or it's very rare that you do that, you know? So that's kind of like a lot of us PvP guys, we're just kind of like, well, I mean, it was fun for a little bit, I guess, but, you know, we want our high back of like grabbing a sniper, doming everyone around the corner, or like fusion rifles, but it's just like, it's once in a blue moon now that happens.
Exactly.
So,
well, Mana was talking about like making those plays and stuff, and he played doubles, and so I'm curious, did you feel like you made those plays during doubles?
I made a couple good sniper plays in duos, nice. And the first time I picked up a sniper, this was months I haven't sniped anyone, and I immediately got a headshot followed by a double body shot. They spawned, got another headshot, and I think it was a body shot followed by, I think it was like a body, then I switched to a primary and finished them. And I was just doing that for probably like 4 games in a row before I switched to something else, and it felt amazing. I was like, wow,
highlight clip coming in.
Seriously, I actually saved it on my PS4 because nice. I wasn't ready for any good play. But it was really nice doing that. I was like, oh, felt good, Gunga. And Gunga's all like, oh yeah, you probably didn't even hit a headshot. I'm just like, look at the kill feed, man. Just like, I did it. Yeah, that's all.
I think too.
I had one of my first. Well, I was just gonna say real quick before you go, Triton. I had my first like actual full-on double kill fusion rifle kill where they just both like lined up perfectly, and I don't think anybody had done any other damage to them, and it was just like through both of them, like completely obliterating them. And I saw a lot of that on Twitter of people using rockets or whatever power ammo they got to do a double kill because people are sticking so close together to get that, you know, effect. But it made them really vulnerable to stuff that power weapons had to offer. Sorry, Triton, go ahead.
No, it's fine. My point was mostly, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago as well, is that they didn't do anything with the balance that they created. There's not like a competitive landscape. There's not tournaments that ran with it. So when you take out those, quote unquote fun elements for it, like let's move past the fact that maybe there's not an end game and maybe like, there's easily accessibility to a lot of the weapons and they're, there's not random rolls. I mean, they're not, to Mana's point, they're not super powerful, even the ones that we have. So, you kind of stripped out a lot of these like big explosions and fun elements to have this very balanced playing field so that you could support these tournaments or MLG or whatever. And that didn't happen. And now you're moving back to customization everywhere. Remember, we talked about that one time. It's like, you shouldn't look like anybody else. And they're moving towards that. But there's been so many things where that's not been the case. So it's like they're making their way back to that, which is a great thing, to be honest with you. I think we all agree there, like moving back to that point. But I mean, that's kind of a big couple months of not having an identity, really. I mean, and hopefully some of these things that we'll talk about here will kind of help define that.
Talking about MLG and all that, they took away a lot of potential by, they finally added custom games in D1, and then they took it away again at the launch of D2, where everyone was just like, here we go. We can, do competitive whatevers, and we can have tournaments and stuff. And then they stripped it from us again. We're just like, what happened?
Yeah. I think it just hit me, like I said today, because I realized having to do the same, 3 heroic strikes for a milestone or doing all those public events. Like, if I'm going to run 3 strikes, I either want to have someone to like help me shoot stuff and talk to, or I wouldn't be able to blow shit up. I don't want to stand behind a box, auto rifle one bad guy, scout rifle another bad guy for 20 minutes, one guy at a time. Like, that isn't fun to me.
No.
No, I feel you.
I feel you. I did those heroic strikes, and they did feel a lot slower than you used to be able to do strikes. I feel like it was more fun once I equipped Sunshot, something with explosions, for my primary.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Why were you just giggling, Triton?
What? No, because I think mine is bugged, so I'm very happy with my strike thing. So I could do like 1 heroic strike, and it'll carry over to the next time. So I don't actually have to do like, my counter doesn't reset ever for some reason. So it's been pretty nice for me, because I can't do a lot of strikes in one sitting. So I'll do like maybe just 3 a month, but I will eventually get that milestone.
But like I'll run strikes. Like when we did strike scoring, the 3 of us, we ran like 5 strikes in a row in D1.
Yeah.
And I didn't like strikes then either, but it was fun. Quickly, since we haven't,
the numbers will change it for you then.
I would just hope that the sandbox and the gameplay changes it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I hope
right
so too.
now
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was just gonna say there's a quick question from chat from Big Tater Tot. He said, with the way D2 has not lived up to what we expected per se, is it because we played so much D1, or are other games out there that much better? And my quick answer to that is kind of neither. I think they just made a lot of mistakes. I think they fucked up a lot of stuff, and now they're fixing it.
I think it's a little bit of both. It was like we played so much D1 and we were used to that sort of game, and then they went back on they went back a couple steps on at least Crucible, which everyone was already so used to, like 3 years, and that huge change, everyone's just like, what happened, and then other games kind of rose up in the place of D2 while they were in that slum. So probably a little bit of both.
I'm with Man on that. I think kind of the first led to the second. Like when we, and Hope and I were big proponents of like, you got to hit a home run with D2. Like we're using up a lot of goodwill. We're very patient with it. My thing is, it's like you're still playing D1. Like I said that since I think the Briar episode. I'm like, are people actually burnt out maybe because the Nightfall didn't change in its structure, or there's not like an alternative to that maybe is like the high-end reward that they kind of repurposed. So you're still playing, in my opinion, a lot of D1 with just different guns that don't do as many cool things. So when you're doing that, because they haven't progressed the game forward in a way that, is basically new. I mean, in a lot of ways they had to kind of reinvent some things. I think it leads to, there's this game that does something that I would like to do, and it opens the door for that. Because I mean, Destiny's very much, and I forget if it was, I don't want to say it's Paul Tassi, but I read an article somewhere where they defined it as a lifestyle game. So it very much should be that. So I mean, really, if Destiny 2 was a lot different or more diverse in certain aspects, I think it would still be that case. But I think when it turned into like Hove was saying, I could just come on here and if I have the patience, I'll do these 5 things in 3 hours, and well, there's nothing else for me left. Then there's going to be games that you the time you would have spent playing that you're going to fill your time with.
I'm with Nana too. I'm not going to elaborate at all, but I agree with it. I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would align with that as well. I think it's just the sudden change is the big one. It just felt like a big swing and miss in many respects and what we were expecting. And I think there was a lot of that, like what the Halo 1 to Halo 2 change. I think there was a lot of that comparison. Everyone was making the big step forward that D2 was going to make, and it didn't do that. I mean, but the nice thing is I feel like they are going to be addressing that stuff now. It's too bad that it's like we're addressing it 4 or 5 months or however far along we are in the game already. Because in my opinion, I think Curse of Osiris was like one of the worst parts of the game that I've played. Like that DLC is such a challenging like story mode to play. There a lot of things about it are really frustrating. That was probably my peak frustration in the game. And I did not like House of Wolves. I didn't like Prison of Elders back in the day. That was one of my least favorite parts of the game. That's when I started playing PvP because of that. But yeah, so I mean, I think it was like Mana put out there, just that drastic change of what we thought we were playing, and that feeling of powerful and not feeling very powerful anymore. Like I liked having some primary gunplay, but I don't think I need 2 primaries at the same time to be able to do that.
It's like everyone was I think everyone just had the mindset that they're just going to have an improved version of D1 be D2, but instead of improving it, they improved PvE a lot, in my opinion. I actually spent hours, but it's just the Crucible, the long-term gameplay that everyone was expecting went back like 5 steps, while PvE went like forward like 10 steps. It was just such a drastic change. I think it just kind of like hit everyone. Like in the beta, everyone was just like, "Oh, yo, this is sick." It's going to be balanced. Yeah, I heard everyone was talking good about the beta. It's going to be cool. Teamfire is going to be more competitive. And then when we finally got to the game, it was like not even a month into it, people were already getting bored, though. Was the thing.
I think
it's
part
interesting.
of it, like part of the, and I don't want to say complaint, but in the beta, I think everybody kind of realized, like, kind of got burnt out by it, but just assumed that the full game would fix that. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this all feels the same. Oh, well, it's because it's one map. It's because it's one game mode.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out it wasn't just because it was one game mode. It wasn't because it was just one map. Like, it was the game. Do you know what I mean?
The game. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Everyone kind of gave the beta a pass because it was a beta, and it turns out, no, we did it all.
And I think expectation drives so many things. Like, we were expected to. So, I mean, the story was the biggest thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, you got to give us a story. How many episodes did we spend in the summer talking about what the story could be like and hoping that they would have this element? So, I mean, for the most part, I think they got the story right. I just think what the expectation is that, oh, well, all the grindy stuff that we like to do because we're not going to play the story more than 3 times that you have to, or unless you help a friend, that's going to be in place. And so you play the story 3 times and you're like, well, wait, what about the stuff that I got to play more than 1 time or 3 times? And I think that's, the expectation of that was like, because I like the Curse of Osiris story. It's an interesting point, Booker.
It's a good point.
I do like those stories, but yeah, that like the timed heroic adventures. I'm like, oh gosh, no. Or that one where we had to like chase the guy through the labyrinth. I'm like, please no.
That is my least favorite one. I hate that one.
Those things suck.
I think with the Curse of Osiris story, like to go back to that, like I was excited about the Curse of Osiris story. Like that's something I wanted to know more of, and I think it was so underwhelming to me that like I struggled to do that story on like my 2nd or 3rd character on PS4, and then I haven't even created a 2nd character on a PC at all. I'm still running 1. It's just like challenging. It's like I don't know if I want to go through that story, and I say that because the D1 story gets like the vanilla gets a lot of flack, and I think I played that D1 story probably 15 times across like 3 accounts and deleting characters and starting new ones, and I still kind of enjoyed that. And maybe I'm glorifying it for what it was because it's old in the past, but I don't know, like this one is like I've done it and like like I don't really want to create a character because I don't really want to go through that again, because you have to like do the story. You can't like not do the story in this case.
Right. I still think like that even goes back to like the point we were talking about earlier. Like it just felt like it feels so much more tedious now because there's no like
that's a good word.
It wasn't like before you got all these crazy weapons, you went back and did that early story and it was easy. Now, like, no matter what you do, no matter what you have, it's like, cool, let me shoot this one guy 8 times. Let me get my other primary out, shoot this one guy 8 times. Now let me reload both my guns and go shoot these other 2 guys. Do you know what I mean?
And then scan that, walk back over there, scan this, and kill this guy over there.
It's like, wait, is Juggler on? I feel like Juggler's on right now. Is anyone else getting Juggler through this thing? Yeah, that feeling sucks.
It was underwhelming. I think that main campaign for DT was better than the Curse of Osiris, other than maybe like the last boss fight, maybe one other boss fight in the Curse of Osiris. I thought that was a really underwhelming campaign. Like, I feel like they could have added way more elements to make it flashy or like more epic. Really? I thought it was mediocre at best. Yeah. It was just like 2 boss fights, I think. Like, what was it? I think one of the boss fights was actually a strike that you can do.
Yeah.
It was the one that rotates around the room, like the big, was it eye thingy that shoots at you?
Yeah.
And then the very last boss fight was kind of neat. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I can't remember. I can't even remember the campaign.
Well, the story elements are kind of spaced apart, because if you did play this by yourself, the infinite forest could feel infinite. I mean, you could be...
Yeah, I played it, I think, all by myself, except for the end, which I think Nava joined.
Okay. But, like, I thought the storytelling was good. I just think that you kind of took a while to get to the next one, because if you did play by yourself, the levels were not like 25. You were like a 45 minute potentially.
Well, I think my funny part of it is I think Brother Vance just turned out to be a really creepy dude. I didn't think he was gonna be that creepy.
Douchebag.
I like had such mystery about him, and he's like such a creepy guy when it comes down to it.
He was a whiny high school girl.
Yeah. Well, like when you go to do the flashpoints on Mercury now, I just don't even want to hear him. I'm like, can you when we shut this guy down? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there were so many times where he kept talking about wanting to meet Osiris and everything, but the one that really got me is when he was like, I think it was at the end of like the campaign, and he was like, "How many books have you written about Osiris?" And he won't come talk to me. He's like, come on, man.
Like, how many things have you done?
Brother Vance was peanut butter and jelly.
It's like, oh, my bad, Brother Vance.
One thing a bunch of people in chat have already said, you guys mentioned the juggler thing. Chat overwhelmingly agrees. And I also, I have said, like, from the beginning, I was like, is juggler, like, an intrinsic, like, modifier now? Like, is it always on? Which is even worse when you're talking about 2 primaries. Like, all I can fire all the time is 2 primaries, and you're going to take one away from me. Like...
But it's like the amount of boss fights I've been in that there is no heavy ammo, like, is like really like this is a thing. Like, give me a heavy ammo synthesis or something.
I know. I missed. Wow, I missed.
I myth.
Remember back in the day of what was it? The Dark Below, Crota. Yeah. Everyone's like, pop your heavies. Yeah. Let's all do it now.
Or do the glitch.
That was the only time people wanted to know Land Beyond.
Yes, exactly.
I missed those days, honestly. I thought those were fun, even though it was like, what was it? A couple months before that, there was the great drought of the heavy synths, and just no one had a heavy.
Oh yeah, that was forever. Or when you went to buy them, they cost a lot too. Like it was hard. It was hard to get them.
Yeah, was it like 900 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Was it Glimmer?
Yeah, it was like, remember we only had 25K.
Yeah, 25 Glimmer, yeah.
Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
The great drought.
Run.
I mean, I would love to be able to buy it now, like something, like, because that would speed up the game. Like you think about it, that would speed up strikes so much if you were able to have some heavy. Because, like, to your point, the amount of time that like you're standing on the side with a miter or something like that, just shooting at the boss, like, and it takes forever.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something, I think that was by design, and no one likes it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were trying to limit, special and heavy and power, whatever the hell they call them all now. I don't even know. But
did we lose Lego? Does Lego?
Yeah, Lego keeps leaving. He doesn't like us. Yeah, he said he just texted me and said, Booker is a douchebag. I'm leaving.
I talked bad about Brother Vance.
This is not true.
Lego, you texted Hope.
Oh, next text. I can't believe he's talking about my boy Vance like that. I'm
out. Are you talking about Brother Vance, that he's like faking it, not being blind again?
He's peanut butter and jelly, man. He's like a high school girl.
Yeah, I don't like Brother Vance at all. I'm not a fan.
He's just jelly, man. He's just hella jelly.
Here's
Here's another question, Big Tanacod in chat. Do you think Rumble and Sixes coming back will help? I kind of want to go off about it. I kind of hope they had more game types to begin with at launch. I think that would have elongated the health of Crucible, just having more options like Rumble and all that.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up earlier, and like to go back to it, and I think we've all picked on Destiny for a long time, but like I don't know how we missed on private matches. Like how does that, like, that was such a big win in D1. Like how's that not there in D2?
Did Lego
like,
just die again?
Yeah.
I think it did.
Wow.
I think no one likes regression, right? I mean, that's the big thing. We talked a little bit about, like, the team that was building up Destiny, towards the end, and the team that was working on D2, that was like, it was different. You would just think, though, that like some of those things, I don't know if it's a resource issue or what, that they couldn't like sync up, like, hey, by the way, these are really beloved.
From what I kind of gathered, like at launch, it was something they wanted, and they just didn't have time to get it out at launch. And from that point on, I hadn't heard anything, but my guess would be, things kind of fell off so quickly that almost got pushed to the back burner at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, probably. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it took resources.
They optimized something else, or they're optimizing, but
pretty much remaking the entire game.
Yeah, they're prioritizing something else other than adding those.
What a good word.
Yeah, I was saying optimized, like it's not optimized. Get out of my head.
I mean, they're kind of optimizing.
But that's not the word I wanted then, I guess.
Pretend it is. Just pretend it is.
I'm going with it.
All right. Well, I guess we should move on to the TWAB unless you guys have anything else going on. Lego, you're back. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we move on to the TWAB? You can't talk. Your mic's not working. Oh, Lego is off the podcast, guys. I just want you to know. Oh, he's not here. He's never gonna hear this. We're making it sound like Lego's having issues. What's actually happening is I've taken over the podcast, and I've banned Lego. He's no longer allowed on the podcast. It will now be called officially Dongcast. Hove's Dongcast featuring Mana and Triton. So if you guys, are down with the Dongcast, feel free to keep tuning in every week. But Lego has
down with the Dong.
Lego has involuntarily retired.
It was a mutiny and very effective and efficient.
Yeah, I'm currently DDoSing Lego.
I was just about to say that, dang it.
Wow, toxic.
Okay. We're going to be on the forums.
We'll move on to the old TWAB. First thing, obviously, we kind of touched on faction rallies are back, right? And Future World Cult's going to win because I said so. So everyone make sure to go check out. Yeah, I normally am a New Monarchy guy, but the Future World Cult stuff does look pretty good. I kind of feel bad because old Lakshmi hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
And
they need to change their colors. They need a rebrand.
She was also in... What movie was she just in?
She was the voice in The Punisher.
She
was the mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen that yet.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
It's real good.
I've heard good things.
Well, what's the weapon they have this time? I guess I forgot what that was.
Was it the pulsar? No.
Is it?
Was it? The
yeah, they have kind of the grasp type
right?
pulse rifle, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Well, don't you host a podcast about Destiny?
Yeah, but I forget. It's 2 pulses and a scout because we talked about.
Well, I think the one like if they win that you can buy cheaper, like, is the pulse rifle. That's more like the grasp of Malik type of pulse rifle, they say. But yeah,
that's my favorite kind of pulse rifle.
I don't know. I love the New Monarchy shaders. Like, I pledge New Monarchy because I want more shaders. It's like, it's the best. Yep. It's like my favorite part of the game right now is the New Monarchy shaders.
They do.
I love that shader, and I like that Iron Wolf one, the one from Iron Banner.
That's an awesome one. That looks great on weapons. That one's fantastic on weapons. Yeah.
So who are you guys all pledging to? You get one person. Who are you going with? New Monarchy for Booker.
I probably will do Future War Called, actually.
Don't you say Dead Orbit.
But I actually like their shaders this time, like the streaks. Last couple times I was like, oh, Dead Orbit, what you doing? But like this time I'm just like, oh, I mean, let's be real, I'm probably going to forget about it and not actually do it, but I mean just the streaks, I don't know, it's just like they kind of look cool this time. And I used to always pledge to them.
Yeah, I was a Dead Orbit person. I was a Dead Orbit guy for forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, one of my characters wasn't like in each of them.
Oh yeah, same.
On my hunter the most.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here and shake my head until this awkward silence
Only you're awkward.
overwhelms us.
I like
So you're pledging to New Monarchy, is that right, Hof?
Future War Cult.
Okay.
They're both good. I can't decide between the two. I generally go back and forth. If I play on 2 characters, I do one of each.
Yeah.
Last time I only did one, so I did New Monarchy. This time I'm doing Future War Cult.
Well, that run to Lakshmi is so far away and out of the way. I just don't like to make that run.
It's closer than Dead Orbit.
I don't go to Dead Orbit.
Yeah,
I go to New Monarchy.
Nobody does. They didn't even get like a nice like place. They're like
Yeah,
in
they
the
just got
corner.
like in the hangar.
Yeah.
I go to
They're just there.
I go to New Monarchy to pick up my engrams from what's her name?
Maybe that's why I like Dead
Hawthorne?
Orbit so much, because they're as messy as me.
Yeah.
You know, and they just kind of set up shop. Like, I kind of have a room, but I'm kind of just throwing everything around. So,
Can't believe you're a Dead Orbiter.
always.
I had so much more respect for you until just now.
I can't go to Future War Call. I think it was just all of D1. They're just such trash.
You're trash.
It's just like their colors were atrocious in D1. I just can't.
Anyway, moving
This is
on.
when I get kicked from the podcast.
This is when Mana also gets kicked. It's just me and Triton.
I'm getting DDoS.
that head shake right there.
All right, so moving on, they've changed a couple things. They put out another new roadmap. It's pretty much the same as the first one, but they've made some changes. Some things have moved back that were originally asterisked, and some have moved up. So we obviously know what got deployed in January 1.1.2. This coming Tuesday, 1.1.3 is strikes and social. So the things we are getting for sure: Nightfall scoring and high score tracking, Destination emblem variants, Crucible emblem variants, Nightfall emblem variants, Fireteam members on Destination map, yes. PC public text chat opt-in, which I don't know. I don't feel like it should, in my opinion, be opt-out, but whatever. Companion mod and shader interactions, and the one that did get moved up is Prestige Nightfall challenge cards V1. They've moved exotic weapon and armor sandbox changes. They've moved back to May now, so we kind of lost that guy. But so mostly Nightfall and strike changes. Anything you guys are looking forward to in there? We'll talk a little bit more in depth with the emblems, but we've talked about Nightfall strike scoring. You gonna jump in and see what that's all about?
I'll probably do it by default. If I do it
coming.
Nightfall, it'll just be there. So I'm not gonna be more or less motivated to play a Nightfall because of it.
I'm gonna be more or less motivated to beat your ass.
Well, it'll be a reason to do Nightfall because I got to get that ornament for my New Monarchy helmet. So yeah, I got to do that.
I never liked Nightfalls in D2. Out of all the PvE, I didn't really like them because, well, the first one was like timed, and I was like, oh, that's but
those are all gone though, right? There's no timers anymore, so at least there's.
Oh, really? Okay, because that's the only reason why I just started skipping Nightfalls. Was just like I didn't like to be rushed. I didn't like. I want to destroy everything in my path.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you didn't have super awesome guns and abilities to do it.
Yeah,
true.
See?
I think we touched on that, didn't we?
A little bit, yeah, just for like a second, I think.
Just for a little bit, we talked about that.
Yes, we're gonna get into the challenge cards and the emblems, which this is when I really wish Lego was here because I'm really bad at this part. But so they have Tyson Green in to talk about some of the emblems, and they've mostly been, he says, they've mostly been a vanity collectible with a few exceptions that reflect noteworthy achievements. In D2, they started to make more emblems towards the achievement side. Now they want to go even further with that. So they're putting more stats on emblems and making these emblems more available to players who want to display those stats. For example, the Crucible emblem that advertises wins or KDA can now be obtained directly from Shaxx after 10 Crucible rep packages. So you can just go pick that up. You don't have to wait to
unlock it. Yeah.
They're also going to deploy a new emblem that advertises your Crucible kills broken down by class, so you can see who finds themselves in your crosshairs most often. And they show
that's cool.
There's little pictures in here of what it looks like with everything. It's really funny whenever we do this part because like you see everybody like Triton and Booker kind of just like thinking and listening, and Mana like you can tell he hasn't read it because he's like listening intently.
I'm actually reading it along with you, like literally just on the same page as you. So
this one is interesting. I don't know that interesting in like a I don't care type of way.
Yeah,
but,
agreed.
Collapsing auras into emblems and removing them as standalone items. This means that existing raid trials and new Nightfall emblems will provide the existing aura effects to players, and future emblems can also roll out new effects. So it's just going to be whatever emblem you have on.
You'll get that aura, so long as you unlock that requirement, right?
Right. Because I was going to say, it's as of right now, there's still weekly resets, right? Like you have to do trials that week. So is it not going to let you wear the emblem, or you just not going to get the aura?
You don't have the aura.
You won't get the aura until you do it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Or flawless or prestige clear to activate them. They'll also come. Some of the auras will come with fire team bonuses. So when they see that aura over you, they know who's giving them that benefit. And again, they show you this one a little bit. Another emblem with total prestige, Leviathan clears, not Leviathan. That's actually the reason I kicked Lego off the podcast, because he kept saying Leviathan.
Just because of live.
Yeah. So I can't remember. Somebody pointed out that Lego, that bothers them when he says Leviathan. So I just want you to know you've been heard.
Oh, wow.
And Lego's been ousted.
So this is a podcast where feedback is taken seriously.
Very seriously.
Very seriously.
Yeah. Like the one time someone asked who the sad Asian in the corner was. We told Trevor he had to pep up.
I mean, that's me, but I mean that was like actually in the chat. I think that wasn't a. I think that was Triple's episode. And it was like one of his people. He was.
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah. It was like while we were podcasting.
Still feedback.
Yes, still feedback though. We do take it that seriously.
That is so funny.
And here's one, Triton, that
it was
I think
seriously funny.
It was funnily serious. Is that a thing? Okay.
Funnily's definitely
like
not a word.
To do a TV thing and try to switch things up there.
Funnily's a word, isn't it?
Funnily, dude.
I hope not.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think that's a word.
It's gotta
Funnily?
be. Isn't it like the adjective version?
No.
Or the adverb
you
version?
You can't just try to like make it seem like that by.
Funnily, adverb, in a strange or amusing way. You do
funnily?
talk funnily.
Oh,
Really?
my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is a word.
He just added it on the freaking.
No.
Like,
It's real. Used to admit that a situation or fact is surprising or curious.
It's the adverb version of funny.
Wow, I did not know that. That's
in
crazy.
a strange or amusing
I'm
way.
offended.
I did not. I didn't know I was going to learn something tonight.
You learned lots of stuff. On
Also, one of the ones under that is the Grammar Phobia blog, where they ask, "Is funnily enough cringeworthy?" So yeah, it's not a word people like to use, but it is a word. So anyway, this is a thing that Triton you've brought up. Lastly, we're introducing variants to some emblems. If an emblem indicates high achievement and lots of players use it, we didn't want that to mean that everyone looks the same. Now, that's something we always talk about, Triton. I know that's been a big thing for you, and we all agree that they've kind of pushed both things. Do these things look different, but we want everyone to be the same, So they're going to let you get these achievement emblems that you have to earn, but they're going to make them look different. So they're introducing variants to be able to allow visible achievement without losing the recognizable identity of the emblem. Some variants are unlocked via conditions, like the new Crucible Kills emblem unlocks some fun, quote, class foe variations after you down 1,000 guardians of that class. Others are drops from sources like Destination Chest or Nightfalls, and some of these might be quite rare. And if you look on here, it's kind of a cool picture. It's one emblem, and there's like 6 or 7 variants to it, it looks like.
Yeah. The Crucible one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
I get why they're doing it, although it's one of those things like they're probably not going to be as hard to get now. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we want something to be really hard to get. Well, now they're going to make it, hey, everyone can get it, but you can still make it look different. So it's addressing that, but I don't think in the extreme we want
it. I mean, it's all fine. Like, I'm on record that I still love the game and play the game, but like this is one that like I just don't know why this is something that their time and energy is going into. But I hate to be mean like that. Like this feels like something that like when the game is doing well, like let's add this thing in as something really cool to do. I don't know. I think it's neat, but like it's like I guess it's February 22nd, so this is what the update's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. This is like a toe. This is like a toe in the water thing. I'm with you on but maybe that resource. Like this to me would be like a nice thing when the game launches.
Yeah,
but it's like a halfway thing. I mean, I think, and no one's ever come on and said otherwise, or we haven't heard differently. But to me, the big thing is like the customization is what you pushed, and then that's not what we ended up getting. And our assumption, I think, or I'll at least speak for me, my assumption is because too much customization could have turned off people. Like, oh, I'm never going to get this certain emblem. Yeah. I'm not going to play anymore. I don't know anybody who has that attitude, first of all. But we want things like that in the game. Like, I mean, like you want to have like, so if you do something in Crucible that noteworthy, you should have an emblem that clearly denotes that. And honestly, you're at a point in the game when you talk about when this is coming out. If there's somebody still playing this game that looks and sees your emblem that you can only get by maybe going flawless, let's just say 10 straight times, and they decide to quit because they're not going to get it, I feel like you've already lost those people. I mean, when the timing of this comes out, the timing of this right now suggests you could probably just make something really, really hard to obtain, and there's not going to be any attrition because of that reason. I do think this is cool. I do think it's, again, a little bit toe in the water. It's kind of like, who is this for? You know, I think the people that really want this want that extreme prayer. Like if I do 50 strikes in a row and you give me some awesome emblem that like that's the only way you can get it, I would think about that more than like, oh, you could do 3 strikes, you'll get the base, do 2 more and do 1 in 10 minutes and you'll get the like level 2. Like that's not as exciting to me personally, but I do think that this is a cool thing to put in the game. I would have just probably appreciated it like immediately.
Yeah, and I think I will say the emblem that they feature in the TWAB, the Victorious Veteran, like the Crucible one, like that's a cool emblem. It's one I would wear, like for sure.
They're cool designs.
Not that I wear it, I guess it would display on my screen. Like I enjoy it. I think it's really cool, and I don't get too excited about emblems, so I guess that's partly me. Like that's not something that like really like drives me crazy or like I strive to get in that respect. But yeah, and I will sometimes have the same emblem on for a long time, but that's just
of course you did in D1 because you had the best emblem.
Yeah, movie of the
week. See, Lego has it now, and he's the only one, so he loves it.
But see, like that's a great example of like that's something that's extremely hard to obtain in a lot of ways, and I never came across them like, oh, they'd be like, where'd you get that from? Oh, well, let me check out your movie. It never was like, where'd you get that from? I can't get that because I don't make movies. I quit. Like that's just not no one does that. Like you just give us these things that like aren't that that you can obtain. Like if Mana did, what if it was like something tied to Guided Games? Oh, will you help 10 people flawless that had never gone flawless on a weekend? Wouldn't that like bring a bunch of people back? Like wouldn't that bring you, if that's the only way you can get that emblem Mana, and this was a game that you wanted to play that much, would you make an attempt for something that was like that? Or what if it was the way it is? Oh, just take one person flawless and then everyone will get it. Like,
I'd rather work for something, right. Like, I mean, if I would have come back, but yeah, like work for it, spend some time grinding for it.
Have y'all talked about that Victorious Veteran emblem though, and how you can customize it and stuff? Because I think that those options are really cool as far as like the potential for the things that you're talking about, right. Triton. Like if you could set up various milestones where if you've killed this many people, you can have this version, or if you've been flawless this many times, you have this version of it. And there can be some ultimate, if you've gone flawless, 100 times, then you get this version of it. Like it's the same emblem, you just have a different way to modify it, basically. I think that would be pretty cool, like different ways to level up, and you could take it one step further even, and it could be, they just show like you kill so many Titans and you get a version of it, or you kill like 1,000 hunters and you have a version of it. What if it was weapons and it was like for 500 submachine gun kills, you get this version of you can get this modifier to the emblem, and for like 50,000 submachine gun kills, you can have this ultra version like that you can add on to the emblem. I think that would be really cool and have something.
I like it. Like it just sounds cool. Just more variation of something to make it stand out. Yeah. Like this is what I'm doing. This is what I work for. Let me flaunt it.
Well, 2 things real quick. One, to anyone who's listening may be confused, I invited Lego back onto the podcast roster.
Oh, is that what happened?
Because as I said, I don't really like doing this part because he's better at leading this conversation. So he's allowed back on until the end of this TWAB. And then the changes we spoke about with the transition to the Dongcast, they will take place again. But no, in all seriousness, like one of you guys, I want to say it was Triton, started out saying this isn't something you kind of wanted to see them spend time and resources on.
Was Booker,
Was it Booker? Whatever, one of you guys. You guys all draw like
I said that.
Okay.
I said that, yeah.
My thought was something like this.
I felt like I was really negative too. I apologize.
No. I think my thought with it is that this was probably done because it was the quicker
easy to
route.
do, yeah.
Because strike-specific loot isn't ready. One of the things we've complained about is loot and more rewards and customization. So this seemed like a much easier thing than making an entire new batch of weapons for every strike or making armor.
Right.
Like this is probably the first step towards we're going to get strike-specific loot and all that, but this was probably a much bigger time saver, and it kind of fit with, hey, we're doing strike scoring, we're doing Nightfall challenge cards, we're doing all this stuff, so it kind of fit with that. I could be completely wrong. That's kind of how I looked at it anyway.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of things that they're doing are kind of like a build up to, like, of course they'd love to send out like a completely different sandbox, that like we talked about earlier, like right now, because that is probably the thing that would bring people back. And then for these other changes to, have more effect. But they'll have all these systems set up in place now that they're slowly building. So when the sandbox change does come, these are the things that you have to look forward to along with it, which will be cool to have that base in place. But as far as like enticing people back right now, these aren't the kind of things that will do that. But it will be nice for these players that are still playing.
They're foundational things more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Bungie knows that and sees it as that.
Well, Lego, since you're allowed back on, you can take over if you would like.
Okay, well...
We're right under the Victorious Veteran emblem, where they start talking about Nightfall emblems.
Yeah, so there's one other thing with the emblems other than, the customization part of it, which I think is really cool, and I hope to see them continue down this customization of emblem road with that Victorious Crucible emblem. But also, they changed the way emblems work to where now the auras for like if you complete a Nightfall or Trials is now applied through the emblem rather than through like an aura section in your loadout. Which I have a theory. I'm assuming that maybe this is because they need more slots for the emote wheel that's coming in or something like that. So that's my little theory there. But auras. It might not have anything to do with that. But auras are now going to be applied via emblems. And also I read through that Reddit thing as well, like through some comments that I think DMG made, it might have been someone else, that the aura will last for 2 weeks now. If you meet like the Nightfall score or if you beat Trials, that it's going to be 2 weeks instead of just one. But that I didn't read that from official BNet stuff. That was Reddit. So could be wrong. But I just think the whole aura change is interesting, and I wanted to see if y'all had any thoughts about it. I don't know. I thought I had some negatives for it earlier, mainly just that you have to wear that emblem to get the aura.
That'd be my only thing.
And so you're not as unique because you're being forced to wear one of those things for that activity. But it kind of goes along with, like there was certain things like Iron Banner used to be, if you wore the mark for Iron Banner during that time, you got extra XP. And that kind of stuff isn't terrible. It's kind of a fun idea. And so when you run a Nightfall, everyone's going to be running their own unique Nightfall emblem, because you can get different ones.
But did they move away from that because they said it was too restricting?
And then everyone cheered when they did.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So that is, like I said, kind of a take back from the aura thing, is you specifically have to wear that emblem. So did y'all have any other thoughts on that?
No, we kind of glossed over that part already.
Well, did y'all talk about the roadmap update already?
Yes, that was
I told you exactly where.
Because I didn't get to yell about Rumble coming back, which is amazing. I'm so excited.
We skipped that because we don't care.
Yeah, I figured you did, because you don't care about Rumble the way that I do. It's not near and dear to your heart. I know you like Rumble, Hove. Come on.
What's Rumble? Rumble in the Bronx? Do you remember that
movie?
movie?
So glad.
Do you remember
That's a good
Rumble in the
movie.
Bronx? Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan? Oh,
That is a good movie, yes.
Did you make a big deal about next week you're going to be able to see your friendly players on the PvE map?
I mean,
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
I wish that was in there since the start.
Calmly.
That was so frustrating. He's like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I think I'm over here. Just look at your map."
I still wish you could see their waypoints, though. That would be good.
Yeah, there's not really anything else in the TWAB other than, you know, all the new emblems we're getting.
Well, we weren't done with the emblems.
Yeah, the emblems do give you a score multiplier if you're going above par, and some other clan incentives that could be on there too. So
I hope to see that in Crucible as well. Like, I hope to see when you wear the Trials emblem after you go flawless, like, I don't know, it gives you some sort of buff to your teammates playing Crucible or something like that that like benefits you for having a Crucible emblem on the same way that PvE stuff will benefit you for playing PvE stuff with your friends. I don't know. I think that would be cool anyway. Even if it's just more tokens. I don't know.
I think that's what it is too, right? Like the token.
That was
game.
the part.
PvE,
that was the part I told you we were at that we should talk about, and you ignored me. So we'll finish this now.
Well, that is literally the last thing on the list, unless you guys have anything else to add on there. But that's pretty much all that I see there.
No, I think that's a good addition, though. Like, you know, anything that you can integrate that could potentially benefit clanmates. Again, incentives to be in clan, incentives for people to play, even if it's not you doing it. You know, it's like the clanogram. Hey, it's nice to know someone else did this, so maybe I'll get on for a little bit. I think those types of things are cool. So I do like that. A lot of things, you know, I know we did spend a big portion of this talking about things that like reminiscing about Destiny and everything else and what Destiny 2 didn't have. But it is nice to see in some of these changes since we've gotten that roadmap that they do take it one level deeper than what we initially thought. So, you know, you get this like score multiplier on top of it being a cosmetic thing. So there's a lot of things that's like, oh, it has this little caveat too that we didn't think about that is a little bit deeper. And if they continue with that trend, then when we get to some of those things on the roadmaps that we really, really want, I'm hoping there's going to be like a nice little extra wrinkle there that's just kind of like the icing on the cake. So, you know, good job in that regard. I do think that, you know, what they're doing, maybe it's not the most exciting thing for me personally, but I do like to see that it's always a little bit more than what I expected.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know we're kind of done with the TWAB here and ending it out. If anybody in chat has any questions for our guest booker here, I just want to throw it out there anytime. But also, you know, I just want to pose the question before we close out everything. Is there anything next week that you guys are excited for coming back? This is probably the least exciting update for me that we're getting, I feel like, because I feel like I'm looking forward so much to next month when we get 6v6, you know, Iron Banner and Rumble and Mayhem in a rotation, like my favorite things ever. That this month, the end of this month, next week, next Tuesday, just kind of feels kind of bland. And I'm excited to do the Prestige Nightfall challenge cards because I like Prestige has no draw for me right now, but having a challenge card and like being able to customize your challenge for more points, all that sounds fun. We've also got you know, some of the unique emblems are coming, but I think just the challenge cards are the things that are enticing me most for next week. Is there anything for you guys that next week you're excited about, or is it just kind of, I'm really waiting for another month?
Exerting my podcast dominance with a quantifiable number in strikes is exciting.
Oh, it's big words from someone.
Oh, you weren't here
when
he
was actually just writing it out.
He confirmed funnily as an actual word. We got English lesson from Ho a little bit ago.
Funnily enough.
I think he has power over the dictionary or something right now, and that's weird.
Would you use funnily enough, or would you say funny enough?
But, well...
Funny enough.
But that's not right.
It's not right. Apparently, funnily.
So when you say funny enough, you're technically wrong.
You're also asking the person who like we have people who tweet at REZOcast like, hey, Lego is saying this wrong. Like, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, we brought that up
too.
So
I'm not the one who should be correctly pronouncing anything.
Also, the Oxford Dictionary agrees with me. Gunga agrees with me. So there's the deciding factor.
It's funnily enough. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it sounds
doesn't matter. Here, what else is right? Sneaked, or snuck?
Depends what.
I
feel like
snuck's not even a word. Snuck is not a word.
What? Snuck is not a word?
No. Sneaked. I sneaked into.
I feel like in Hove's like just free time, he looks up words, so he knows.
Snuck is a word. It's past the principle of sneak. Buddy.
Informal North American. It is not an actual word.
It's my word.
That's my word. This is Booker's podcast today, Ho. It can be snuck if he wants to.
Our podcast does not have control over the English language.
The origin of snuck, Old English, snike, to creep. Just saying.
Wow.
And it changed to sneak, late 16th century. I just thought that was cool. Just snike.
I wonder how that combo goes, though. Someone's like, oh, sneak. And like, you know what? That just sounds crappy. We got to come up with something else. And someone's like, boom, snuck. And everyone in the room is like, yo, like, oh my gosh.
Funnily enough, I know the answer to that.
Oh, man.
I quit the podcast.
I know.
This is where I take over again. Are you ready?
No, this is where we end the episode. That's what this is.
The second half of last week was probably the best 30 minutes of podcasting we've done in 73 episodes.
Is that what it's called? Is that podcasting? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that might just be. I don't know. That might just be four guys hanging out, talking to each other.
Let's make a new word for it.
Yeah.
Instead of podcasting, we can be broadcasting.
Snargling.
What? No. What? We're away from that word.
Prod. I'm still trying to get over prodcasting.
Codprasting?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
There.
Booker, come on. It's your podcast. Make up a new word for what we do.
I don't know. Like I felt like the whole show, the starting out is like the Bachelor connection or something like that. The way you guys fight with each other over.
Here we go. We're dong casting.
Oh yeah,
right there.
We quit podcasting and we started dong casting.
Word. I'm sure you anything good.
I'm gonna look that up and see if that's in the dictionary. Dong.
My favorite part at the end of the episodes is like when Lego, the like look on his face as we're keep doing this as he's trying to close. It's just like it's like this polite frustration.
Oh no, I'm just letting it go. I'm not frustrated at all. I'm just like I'm riding the wave of the
hashtag
podcast.
Dongcast.
Dong. Third person was a dong's past tense. Donged. Let's see. That donged is a word. I don't really know how to. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there it is. Vulgar slang for penis.
Here's a tweet from Brit So Much. I don't know who she is, but she said, "I'd like to enjoy my date in honor of somebody and somebody, 2 tags. Also, the pending Dongcast."
Wow.
You guys want to know the origin of dong?
Yeah.
Well, you're there, so we got to know now.
It's Vietnamese for coin.
Huh.
Oh.
It had the little accent mark, the little like accent mark up above the O, and
I'm
then
not
just
sure.
changed to dong.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure what you were trying to
the
do.
little house up above the.
Wow, Lego. Where was your mind at?
I don't.
He was just drawing shapes on the screen. I didn't know what
but he was talking about it being like above the O. He wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know what all those accent marks are called anymore. So
tilde. It's the only one I know.
There you go. Yeah, that's what it is.
Sure,
But
exactly.
tilde is just the like apostrophe above.
Oh no, yeah,
you know all this stuff. Like
I used to be smart.
you still are.
His
You know all
smartness
this stuff,
lingers.
though. Yeah, I know.
It's just more fun to act stupid than it is to be smart. People hate smart people.
Well, speaking of being smart, I think I am going to bring this to a close before Hove just completely ruins another podcast.
I didn't ruin the podcast. The podcast was great last week, and you
I
know
just
it.
like messing with
ready?
you,
All right.
man.
Booker, we're going to play a game, you and I. You ready?
Oh, no. Here we go.
Lego's going
Here
to
we
count
go.
down 3, 2, 1, and we say a word. We're going to both try to say the same word here, okay? So your best bet here is think of something that like we have, like something that has happened between us or something in common, and it's one word. And we both say it at the same time, like rock, paper, scissors, okay?
Okay.
Dongs.
All right. Lego, give us the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Nipple.
Dongcast.
I'm so disappointed in
You
you.
keep on going.
Okay,
right?
one more time.
Keep on going.
3, 2, 1.
Beer.
Teabag. I was thinking of Windler. Teabag.
I was thinking how you wouldn't quit giving me fucking titty twisters.
said you went from Dongcast to Teabag. He's keeping it in a nice little.
I thought in my mind he went from nipple to Windler, so I don't know.
All right. That's what we're going to do. Every guest has to go through that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it'll be with Hove every time, so you know it's
There
going
you
to be
go.
terrible.
What the fuck is that supposed to be?
This has been REZOcast episode 74.
I'm not done.
We've had a wonderful guest with us. Booker, thank you for joining us this week. We really appreciate it, man.
This is bullshit.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. This has been Lego, aka Lego Le Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you, man? 3, 2, 1, go!
I'm giving the camera dirty looks. I don't want to answer this question.
Fine. People don't have to find you. Triton, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all under Triton, please. All one word, please being PLZ. How about you, Mana?
You can find me at the Manigator, mainly on Twitch, Twitter, maybe one day YouTube when I finally get good again.
Those doubles highlight clips.
I have a couple from Destiny that I could potentially upload. How about you, Booger?
Lead0ffMan, everything. Lead0ffMan. There's just a 0 instead of an O on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
Hove, come on. Where can they not find you anywhere? Can they find you sulking in the corner?
Lego counter like took over the takeover.
I'm letting him think that.
Okay, this is all a mind
Twitter,
game.
Twitter, Twitch, just Twitter and Twitch. Hove76, HOV76.
And you can find them on Pornhub under Maximum Effort.
Funnily enough.
Funnily enough, yes.
You can also find REZOcast on Twitter at REZOcast. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions you have for the cast. And you can find Team Resolute at Team Resolute and TeamResolute.com. Yeah, and also we've been using these fancy new blue microphones and blue headphones now sponsoring REZOcast, so really appreciate you guys. Sound wonderful. And they hear wonderfully.
How do we sound, Lego, through those headphones?
Awesome. This microphone sounds great, though. Man.
I was going to say, Mana sneaked the Astros onto this.
He did sneak.
I totally forgot that I had Astros on.
Funnily enough, you used the correct word there.
If you enjoyed the episode, if you enjoyed our random bickering to each other and praise and dislike for certain parts of Destiny, we'd really appreciate a review on iTunes or on YouTube. Just leave us a comment or Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, guys, GG.
GG's.
GG. Always reread.
Done with this show.
Who isn't going to say GG?
I'm done with this show.